Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Clare Kaneko, and I am the current JALT president. And it is my great pleasure to be talking with a very good friend of mine and the recipient of the Kevin Cleary invited speaker for 2023. So I would like you to all do a round of applause while looking at the screen for my very special guest, Melodie Cook. Hi, Melodie. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
It's good. We had a brief meeting on Saturday at a different
Yes.
JALT event, so it is good to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was nice at the NEAR conference.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. So today I'm going to be asking you a few questions in relation to your presentation at the JALT conference in Tsukuba very shortly, in a couple of months. So Melodie, the first thing I want to ask you, if you can provide us with a brief outline of what you're doing in your professional life at the moment. So what are your current research projects? What are you doing? Where are you at? If you could give us a bit of information about that.
Sure. Actually, I have a lot of things on the go. Surprisingly, I've been saying yes and walking through the opening doors. I've been doing some reviewing. I did a review for Gale journal recently. I'm working on a book. We're hoping to have it out by the JALT conference. I'm an editor along with Alex Burke and Davy Young. It's a book on barrier-free learning in Japan, and I think it's something that's really needed right now. I'm also working on a chapter for a book that is going to be contributed to by people from my faculty at my university. So that's another thing I'm working on. I'm also a series editor for Canlin and Maynard Publishers. And just today, I received a message. No, yesterday, I received a message from the publisher saying, I need you to read this book and tell me your thoughts. So yeah, I've got quite a bit going on right now at the moment. And also, I'm just kind of easing into preparing my classes for the next semester.
Yes, as long as I've known you, you've always been very busy, always doing a lot of different things. And I'm very appreciative that a lot of the stuff that you do is also for JALT. So,
one more thing.
yeah.
Sorry. I keep forgetting about this, which is awful, but I'm the incoming book reviews editor for JALT Journal. So I just finished writing an exposition that I hope everyone will read in the November JALT Journal about how we are making changes to how book reviews will be done. Okay, that's the last thing.
Excellent. Thank you so
Till
much.
I think of the next thing.
Well, there's probably a million more. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things we do look for when giving this award out, obviously, is people who are contributing or have contributing to the JALT community. And I can speak to any JALT member and they will tell me that your name, because they know of you, because you're so active, and it's the active people that are known by many. So it's very wonderful to be.
Thank you. And it's really, really an honor when I received the message that I'd been selected for this award. I was uncharacteristically speechless. Really, I was blown away. I didn't know Kevin so well, but I just knew that he was such a wonderful, sweet guy, very calm presence, and a reliable person, and everybody loved him. So to get this award is just an amazing honor, and I'm very, very grateful.
Well, yes, well, we're glad that to have someone like you on our team as well. So thank you very much for that. So the second question I have for you is focusing more on your presentation at the conference. So what is the underlying message that you have for people that will be coming?
Yes, I guess the underlying message is to follow your passion, whether that be teaching or research, and that everything that you do has more meaning than you might think, and it might be helpful to you in the future. So at the beginning of your career, you may feel like, you know, you have to jump through hoops and you have to do certain things to get to a certain place. Um, but everything you do helps to get you to that place. And then after, when you are, I guess, you know, more settled, you can really begin pursuing your research interests. And they might take you away from purely language teaching to more sociocultural things, or you know, I started my own career writing about, well, my first publications were all, you know, rewrites of things I had to do for graduate school. And they got published in the Kyo. And sometimes somebody would actually read them. And then they contact me and say, hey, do a presentation on that. Or, hey, would you like to write another paper on that? It's like, oh, okay. So then I was, you know, the things that I output, here's a cat, here's Stripe for all your benefit. Um, everything that you do, you know, it's gonna come back. And then you know, later on, when I was doing my PhD, I was researching Canadian teachers. I mean, it was just a fluke. I was visiting Canada, and one of the teachers there said, hey, we have a program, teachers come from Japan, MEXT pays for them, and they are studying you know, about teaching communicative language in Canada. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. I have my foot in both worlds. So I went and got permission from the head of the program. And then when I applied for my thesis, or I applied for graduate school, I knew exactly what I was going to do. And I was going to do that program. And while I was doing that program, they kept talking about the entrance exam, the dreaded entrance exam. We can't do this because of the entrance exam. And I had never worked on an entrance exam. So I thought, well, that's going to be my next project. And so I did that. And that wasn't really about language teaching per se. It was about participation of other foreign teachers on language, doing language entrance examinations, and what they thought. And that was an amazing experience. And then that took me in other directions. And then, you know, other doors kept opening. I was refused from some conferences at first because I wasn't writing about how to teach English. I was interested in different things, but then I started going to different kinds of conferences. And then I started doing things that JALT became interested in, or more local conferences were interested in. And I started being able to share my research about that. And then as I moved through, I started to get, you know, I wrote a paper in graduate school about gender representation in textbooks. It was a paper for graduate school. I put it in the Kyo. I did a presentation on it. And then suddenly I was gender woman. And I started getting asked to do more gender related things. It's not my area of expertise. Nothing is, to be honest. I just want to find out stuff that I'm interested in. So, you know, I want to know about, okay, let's look at gender in textbooks. Let's look at what kinds of things are stopping Japanese teachers of English from teaching English the way they might want to. And now I'm also interested in raising a family, bicultural family, and also my children are fostered and adopted. And so I could write about that. These are things related to my life. I could write about raising your children in a multicultural family in Japan. And I was an editor on a book about that. And that was a passion project. And in fact, that was such a passion project that was the time when beloved Michelle Steele was still with us. And actually my co-editor, Louise George Kitaka, her husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and we donated our royalties, which are not much anyway, but still, we decided this book, all the royalties from this book are going to cancer research. So, and our publisher said, okay, since the royalties are not a lot, we will top it up. So that, we did that. So truly, labor of love. Took us 5 years to get the thing published. We persevered. I remember I was asked, this is a funny thing, I was asked to read a proposal for the updated handbook for teachers teaching in college and university in Japan. And I was reading the proposal on there saying, do we need an update of this book? And I'm like, well, heck yes. And then I got asked to write a chapter, to work on a chapter with Diane Nagatomo, Her Highness, and go through her data with her. And it was fascinating. And then I was gender lady again for a little while doing that. And that was amazing, getting that chapter published. And then I guess we also did a book about what it's like to be a foreign female teacher in Japan. I didn't write a chapter. I was one of the editors of that book. But that was, in my role of gender lady again. And then I'd known Alex Burke for years and her work in barrier-free education. And then I saw Davy Young speak at a conference during COVID online. And I thought, I'm a series editor at Canlin and Minard. I'm going to bring these people together and we're going to do a book. And we're in the end stages of that now. And so that is a pure passion project. I don't know anything except what these experts are teaching me. So I've gone kind of a meandering road, but everything that I've done has led to other opportunities. No matter how, a lot of people will denigrate their school Kyo and say nobody reads it. Not true. People read it. People will give you opportunities. I have the job that I have now because of a paper I wrote, which really wasn't good at all, that I was kind of forced to write for a Kyo when back in my first position in Japan, where I was not considered a researcher, but they said, you must write something for the Kyo. And I wrote something. It wasn't very good, but they brought it out at my interview. And I was like, oh my God, you're impressed by that? It really wasn't that good, but it got me to where I am now, which is, tenured professor. And so everything that you do, no matter how small or no matter how, you might think, oh, that's not very important. You never know what's going to move you forward in your life. Do the things that you have to do to get to where you want to be, and then you can do the things that you love to do.
That's a really good message. Very good message.
I got to it in a really windy way, but that's my way of doing it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm there yet. So that's just something that I have to work on a little bit. So that question sort of has merged into the last question as well, somewhat. So the question we just had was, the message that you're bringing forward and what the connection to that for the third question is. How do you see a benefit for those that are going to be at your presentation or that are going to view it online afterwards? How do you see those people taking your message and reacting or doing things with it out in the real world?
Well, I hope people will be inspired and will think, in the darkest moments when you can't bear to look at your master's thesis draft or your PhD thesis draft, you're looking at it and you're going, oh God, I just want to give up. Don't, don't give up. And anything that you have to do, figure out where it is you want to go and go there. And then you can do what you want when you get there. And actually you can do what you want along the way, to be honest. Just keep doing stuff. Don't, and have a little bit of a thick skin, I guess. I think, one benefit, well, I would say a benefit for non-Japanese teachers is we're kind of permanent outsiders, and we develop a bit of a thick skin about that. develop the same skin for the rejections that are going to come. I had one paper make the rounds 4 or 5 times before it was published. And it was the first one I wrote about entrance exams, and it was the last one to be published. All the others got published before it. Don't know why. Don't know why. But just keep going, keep doing it, and try and enjoy yourself, and try and find an angle that resonates with you. Talk to people. And a very important thing I would like to recommend is you can't have the Diane Nagatomo. You can't have her because I already have her. You can't have her, but you need someone like her. Somebody who is, a peer, because she and I were in the same cohort in graduate school. Somebody to bounce ideas off of, somebody to share ideas with, somebody to proofread your paper for you. We didn't meet in person until 6 months into our program. We met finally in person at a JALT conference. But Diane and I, it was wonderful because we were constantly inspiring each other, lighting a fire under each other's butts. We graduated at the same time. I believe we might have been the first out of the gate in our cohort, perhaps. So have yourself somebody like Diane. Get yourself a buddy to work alongside, to inspire you and keep you going. Yes.
That's wonderful. I mean, I know that, you probably don't realize that you've inspired a lot of people yourself. Me being one of them, because I met you quite early on in my journey as well. And that was through JALT. So, having the connection through JALT, and obviously you live sort of just down the road, so it makes things a little bit easier. But certainly I think for me as a female, seeing another female Westerner in Niigata doing this sort of stuff was, also very inspirational. So there are a couple of females here in Niigata that I look up to, and you're definitely one of them. So yeah.
Thanks. And I have to look up to you because you're taller.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I have going for me.
No, you're awesome.
But
way more chill.
Thank you so much for your time, Melodie. And
You're
this
welcome.
is a little preview of what people can expect in your presentation in Tsukuba later on this year in November. So if you're watching, I hope you enjoyed the video and the interview with Melodie Cook. And we look forward to seeing you at Tsukuba 2023 and enjoying this presentation. Thank you very much, Melodie.
Thank you.
The Kevin Cleary Invited Speaker program was begun in 2014 in memory of a beloved JALT president who passed away in January of that year. Kevin M. Cleary, 1962 to 2014, had been involved with JALT as an officer at the chapter level and the national level since 2002. He served as JALT president from 2010 until his death in 2014. He is remembered as a soft-spoken but dynamic leader with energy, vision, a great sense of humour and strong interpersonal skills. The speaker for this award is one who encompasses the same spirit and enthusiasm Kevin showed during his time with JALT.